and you won't believe what happened next on Dead Air Radio. It's getting closer! I can hear it clawing at the glass!
Hey guys, welcome back to Dead Air Radio. My name is Megan, your host, and I got a spooky one for you. This one comes from the subreddit No Sleep, and it's titled Babysitting Rule Don't Mention the Man in the Basement. Now, there are 8 parts to this. I'm just going to read you part 1, so I hope you like it. Hey guys, I wasn't sure whether to post this, but it's been on my mind all week. I figured writing it out might help me process it, and honestly, I need someone to tell me I'm being ridiculous. So, last Friday, I started a new babysitting job. I've been babysitting since I was about 14, and being in college, it's an easy job, most of the time. I get to study while the kids go to bed, and I actually like kids. I have families that I babysit for every once in a while, but I wanted something more consistent. So when a new family reached out to me to offer me a weekly babysitting job every Friday night between 6 p.m. and midnight, I jumped on it. Plus, the pay that they were offering was way more than my other babysitting jobs. Most parents want me to meet them first, introduce me to their child, get references, the typical stuff. But these parents just asked me to be at their house that Friday at 6 p.m. They didn't even ask me about my experience or tell me about their child other than his name, Jamie. Looking back, maybe this should have been a red flag, but I just assumed that they were more chill about bringing strangers around their child, or just desperate for a regular parents' night out, some freedom. However, when I arrived for my first night on Friday night to meet the family, things were different. The parents, Margaret and David, live a little outside of town in this big, old Victorian house. The kind that looks charming during the day, but once the sun goes down, every shadow feels like it's watching you. It's the kind of house that creaks under its own weight, and every draft feels like a whisper. Margaret greeted me at the door with this polite but distant smile. She appeared to be in her mid-30s, but the gray strands streaking her brown hair made her look older. Plus, her eyes aged her. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept in days. David was a little bit older, with short black hair and glasses. They both looked strict, not the type of casual parents I was expecting, ones I could chat and laugh with. David didn't waste time on small talk. He led me straight into the kitchen, sat me down at the table, and slid over a sheet of paper with 3 rules written on it. He went over them loud, like a teacher making sure a student understands. Number 1, the basement door stays closed. Don't open it, don't touch it, don't go near it. Number 2, our son must be asleep by 9 p.m. sharp. And number 3, if Jamie talks about the man in the basement, ignore it. He said it in this calm, flat tone, like he rehearsed it 100 times before. Margaret just stood behind him, nodding along, her arms crossed tightly over her chest. I forced a little laugh, waiting for them to smile back, to make it into a joke, but they didn't. They just stared at me until I said, "Okay, got it." Then David folded the paper in half, slid it back into a kitchen drawer, and that was it. Not creepy at all. While we stood there in the kitchen, I noticed the little boy peeking his head around the corner, watching me nervously. I thought at this point there would be a little introduction to Jamie and all of the other rules, snacks, bedtime routine, is he allowed to watch TV, etc., but nothing. They picked up their bags and coats and left without even saying goodbye to Jamie. It was like they couldn't wait to escape. I smiled over at Jamie and gave a friendly wave, but he stayed around the corner. It made me feel sad. Did his parents just not care for him at all? No goodbye hug or kiss, just leaving him alone with a stranger? Poor little guy. He's 7, small for his age, with big dark eyes that seemed too old for his face. At first, I thought he was just shy. I tried coaxing him out of his shell with easy kid humor. The same stuff I use on my cousins. Silly voices, dumb questions, that sort of thing. Usually that works. But with Jamie, it felt off. He didn't laugh or even act annoyed. He just looked uneasy, like he was waiting for something. Not in a cute, new babysitter way, more like nervous anticipation, like a kid waiting for a storm he knows is coming. It wasn't a big deal at first. We played a board game, had a snack, the usual. But around 8:30, he started getting jittery. He kept glancing down the hall toward the heavy wooden door at the far end, the basement door. I asked him what was wrong, and he whispered, almost too quietly to hear, "He doesn't like it when I'm awake after 9. "Who doesn't?" I asked. "The man in the basement." That made my stomach twist. I didn't push it, remembering the rule about not talking about it, but my mind had a million questions. Who was down there? An uncle? A brother? But why would he call them the man? An imaginary friend? I really wanted to ask him about it, but he was clearly nervous and I wanted to follow the rules. I guided him upstairs and tucked him into bed. As I was finishing a bedtime story about a friendly lion who thinks he's a mouse, Jamie grabbed my wrist with his small, cold hand. His grip surprised me. Not hard, but desperate. "Will you keep me safe?" Jamie whispered, his eyes pleading. The words sent a shiver down my spine. Safe from what? The man in the basement? I wanted to tell him everything was fine, that there was nothing to be afraid of, but the fear in his voice made me question it. Still, I summoned a smile and reassured him, "Of course, Jamie, that's what I'm here for." Once he was settled, I went back downstairs. I curled up on the big, comfy couch in the living room and pulled a woolen blanket over me. The fire that had been blazing when I arrived had burned low, reduced to glowing embers that popped occasionally, sending tiny sparks drifting upward. The house was quiet in that heavy, old house way, where silence doesn't feel empty, but full. Every tick of the clock, every sigh of the floorboards seemed amplified. I scrolled on my phone, the usual brain rot, memes, and short videos, trying not to think about what Jamie had said. That's when I heard it. A knock. Slow. Deliberate. 3 times. I froze. My thumb hovered over my phone screen, suddenly too loud in the silence. My stomach dropped. It was coming from the basement door. At first I thought maybe the parents had come home early and gone in through the back, but no, it wasn't outside. It was inside. A hollow knock, like knuckles rapping against wood. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. I sat there frozen, heart hammering. I summoned up some courage and called out, "Hello?" and waited with bated breath in the deafening silence. No answer. Maybe I'm overreacting, but the whole room suddenly felt wrong. You know that gut feeling you get when something's wrong? Like you're being watched? That's exactly what it felt like. The air felt heavier, and I couldn't shake the certainty that someone, was right there on the other side of that door, waiting. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe for a moment. I just kept staring at the door, waiting for it to happen again. But the house was silent. When the parents came home later, I thought about mentioning it. But one look at them, at the way they avoided my eyes, didn't ask me one word about how things went. and wanted to quickly usher me out the door without a chance of any small talk. Told me they already knew. So I kept my mouth shut, collected my money, and left. And now, I can't stop thinking about it. I know you're probably thinking I'm being dramatic. It was just 3 knocks, right? An old house creaks, pipes bang, wood shifts, but there was something about it, that heaviness in the air, that certainty that I wasn't alone. I swear, it felt like something was on the other side of that door, and I knew it was listening. And Jamie was just so scared, generally scared, not like a little kid afraid of the monster under the bed, but a kid who has actually experienced something. Maybe I'm just being ridiculous. Maybe Jamie's man in the basement is just some imaginary friend, and the parents told me not to talk about it and to not encourage his imagination. Maybe I'm letting my brain run wild in a creepy house. But honestly, I'm scared to go back this Friday. Tell me I'm being a loser. Convince me. Please. Thanks for listening, guys. Stay tuned for part 2 next week.